Bam!
What's up, Call to Action fans? That's right, it's Monday. You know what that means. It's time to turn it up to 11. I am your host, the Belford, and with me, as always, is my wartime consigliere, the one, the only, PLD. What's up, PLD?
Not much, man. Not much. I'm so happy to bring it back and turn this son bitch up to 11, man. Our first episode was so much fun. This one's going to be just as fun, I think. We do apologize a little bit. We had some technical glitches. I imagine the Action Army technical glitches. Bateman must have been at the controls. I don't know. Maybe that's what happened. But we'll make things work. We always make things work. That's the important thing.
That's right. That's right. It's actually on brand tonight because tonight, as I'm sure everyone knows, tonight we are doing the greatest feuds in the history of the Schmoedown, and truly the actual greatest feud in the history of the Schmoedown is Call to Action against technology. We've been feuding with it from the start, so it's very on brand for tonight. But without further ado, Paul,
we should explain one of our glitches specifically. We usually do these great videos, so we have some packages that Billy put together to highlight our top 11 as we go down, because we don't do top 10. We turn it up to 11. But we did have audio glitches on our first two videos, unfortunately. So instead of hearing anything, it's not your fault. Don't turn your volume up past 11 because you don't want to break your ears. We're just going to be talking over them. You won't hear anything. You'll just see what we're talking about. But then after that, the top 9 should be crisp and ready to go.
That's right. That's right. So as we let's get right into it. We're going to get into it with some honorable mentions. The
I know. I got one honorable mention for you. I got a big honorable mention for you.
Yeah?
JTE versus spelling.
That is always true. JTE has been feuding with the English language probably for his entire life. Geppetto comes to mind, of course.
Triceratops and
yes,
what he said. I can't even say what he said. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, there were some really bad ones in the history of JTE on the whiteboard. Right. There's also a lot of Schmoedown competitors in penmanship. They've been feuding with that.
That is true. That is true. I don't know if you have the marker of the what is it? This is Jane Fonda, I think it was.
Yeah, Jane Fonda. If you just scribble anything in the bottom right corner of your whiteboard, it could be Jane Fonda. 100%. That is definitely Jane Fonda. Definitely.
Yeah, that definitely says Jane Fonda, right?
Quick, erase it. Erase it.
Right, Jane Fonda. That's it.
One of the feuds that didn't really make our list because it wasn't really in the Schmoedown competitively, was Dagnino's feud with Harloff as far as just calling each other idiots in between every match.
You're an imbecile. You're a moron.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. Oh man.
What it was. Hell, you know what? Alex Damon versus the Field. Well, I don't think Alex Damon versus anybody at this point is the greatest feud because no one seems to be able to beat him at this point.
100%. 100%. There, another one that it was kind of like at one event, but Andrew Guy at the Schmoedown Awards when he was flipping off everyone, winning multiple awards and giving great acceptance speeches, including when he brought the speech out on the paper. Yes, so good.
Ben Damon.
So good.
And then, of course,
the
biggest feud of all time is John Roca versus two-time award-winning podcast Call to Action.
That is very true. That's years and years in the making across multiple platforms, multiple iterations of John Roca, going back to his top 10 days, the Horseman days, the 5 Horseman days, Outlaw Nation. We had our wars with John Roca for sure.
John Roca. And our teammate, John Roca and our teammate, round 4.
Yes. Well, I think he's accepted that. I don't think he's feuding with round 4 anymore. He's kind of just he's learned to lean into it maybe a little bit. Those are some of the more humorous honorable mentions. We do have some actual honorable mentions that just barely missed our list.
Yeah.
For one reason or another. I think what I actually thought of while we were doing the list, Paul, was Breanne Chandler and Mike Kalinowski. They actually had a nice little feud going for a while, including all the way up to that one scene where Breanne is in the car that we never got a payoff for. That was like, it just kind of just fizzled a little bit.
Just enough, unfortunately. It didn't quite make it, but it was great. I love seeing Breanne, like one of the first female heel, really. And she turned with Mike, and she had the whole thing with the Viper Squad and Stacy. That was a very fun time for them. I love Breanne. I miss Breanne. She's great.
Oh, so much, yeah. Brienne's an OG Action Army member, 100%.
That's right, 5-star.
That's right, 5-star. Brigadier General, because that was back when Ben and Drew didn't know military ranks.
That's true. That's very true.
When petty officer was like the third highest rank they had.
Team Action, the Action Army versus Army rankings. That was another feud.
Yes, that's a good feud as well.
Mike Deacon. Oh, that's too much. That's too much. We love Mike. We like that one.
Wow, Deacon
gonna cut.
Bethany's gonna be mad at you because that is mean, and she don't like mean.
That's true. Look at the other ones thrown in there. I like some of these too. Bateman versus the Table, Harloff versus the Fans.
Yeah, those are all good. I think just Team Action versus Furniture in general, because Ben has the table and then Drew has the chair.
That's right. We don't do good in IKEAs. Let's put it that way. They're not very good.
Some other ones that didn't, like Roca versus Riley was just it's right there, but it's just not quite on the list. It's also a little older. It's kind of maybe fizzled out in the long run.
He's on the Horseman. They're on the Horseman together. I mean, but at this point, it was good for the time. And as we were back to our match when Riley won the belt, that was a big moment for him. And Roki to get it back eventually, but they never seemed to really come to a big, huge, not bad, but compared to some of the other ones on our list, it wasn't quite as heated and as long lasting. I would say.
Exactly, which also kind of leads into the next one, which is Cushing versus Knapsack, it has one of the most shocking moments in Schmoedown history, but the feud itself never really mattered, I guess you could say, or really. I mean, Rachel was going to win. Unless it was a Star Wars match, Rachel was probably going to win every match they played against each other. And they only played the one match.
Yeah, you had the one big turn. That was like the big moment of the feud. After that, there's not a whole lot more to it because it ended up becoming more faction stuff and kind of became a heel and kind of left Rachel alone. To be honest with you, it wasn't much more than that. So, yeah, it was a good moment. But so it can't really enter our top 10, but it's a good moment.
Exactly. We also had... Again, it's a feud that feels bigger in our minds than it actually ever really was, which is Knapsack versus Whitwer. They only have the three matches against each other when you factor in the Freddie Prinze match, the 5-way, and then the Iron Man match. But because Whitwer just left and disappeared, we never got the payoff of that feud really that we always wanted. So
right, absolutely. But I mean, again, it's one of those things where those big matches and you wanted to see them face each other. They actually had when Ken Knapsack won the belt the first time. It started something, and then they had the match we talked about last 2 weeks ago. The Iron Man match kind of set it up, but after that, Whitwer disappeared not too really long after that. So it kind of didn't.
That was his last match. So yeah.
I mean, he was going to be on the den, but it just didn't work out. And so, unfortunately, it could have been something bigger, but at this point, it ended up fizzling out.
In the chat, we got Ross Bristow. What's up, Ross? He says KO versus Cushing wasn't a feud. I'm going to address that right now. There's different kinds of feuds in the Schmoedown, which is one of the things that makes the Schmoedown great. There are feuds that are heated, personal kind of rivalries. There are, wars of words. There are feuds that were kind of went out on Twitter and were huge on Twitter, but didn't necessarily show up on screen on the Schmoedown as much. Some feuds rely heavily on the results of matches. Other feuds, the results of matches didn't matter whatsoever in the feud. Specifically, there are great feuds that happen over especially championship belts, and that's what makes them great feuds. They might not be the fiery personal rivalries that we think of when we think of a feud, but the feuding over the title and the quality of the matches that they had definitely factor into great feud.
Yeah, you could have a friendly feud.
Exactly.
Absolutely friendly feud. It's a rivalry, and it happens all the time. I mean, we didn't like each other, but you still want to beats them.
I've been having a friendly feud with this moron most of my C2A career. So,
that moron over there.
Directions.
I have problems there. That's what it is. I thought I had it down, and it comes back to bite me in the ass. Well, that's true too. But we do. We have to feud. It's a friendly feud with everybody, right? It's a friendly feud.
It is. We've had our fair share of feuds. We haven't had nearly as many feuds as John Rocca, but we've had our fair share of feuds. But yeah,
that's a good one, AJ. That's a good one for you. The guy versus the digital wheel.
That is, man. That's a good one. But it's just one of those. There's so many. That is the beauty of the Schmoedown too. Is there are so many feuds. Some of them were quick. Some of them were longer. Some of them involve belts. Some of them don't. So we try to cover as much as our basis as possible,
including the two. The last two honorable mentions we mentioned. One was Bibiani versus Andreyko. Some people are going to say that wow, that didn't make the list, and some people are kind of surprised it didn't. It's on the list, or would be on the list. I love this rivalry because it's not like a story-driven rivalry. It's not something that was forced to happen. Just kind of like it began from that. They had that first big match together, and they both were like almost perfect. And Bibiani won in the end, but it kind of was that thing that Andreyko always wanted to get him back. They had a couple of horror free-for-alls in there. It's almost like one of those things where it's a rivalry like that they're kind of dancing around each other, and they kind of want to face each other a lot more. They want to have the rivalry more. It just hasn't happened yet.
Right.
It's almost like a rivalry to be still potentially because they love facing each other. I love that aspect to it. So I hope we get to see that more. It's a fun time.
And it's one of those things where we didn't know who Bibiani was when he played Andreyko. He was a debut, so looking back now, it looks like it has more weight to say, oh wow, they did play each other, but we didn't know who they were, so it doesn't. That kind of almost lessens it a little bit. It's kind of like Oyama versus the Kid, like that was their debut match against each other, like
right,
and that could be a feud that goes forward later. We might get more of that. But yeah, so I think that about covers it.
We have one more we wanted to mention. One more.
Okay, one more.
One more that we were going to think about. Didn't quite make the list, but it's kind of a favorite of ours a little bit. Chandra versus Brandon Hanna.
Yeah, this is one that is it's people. There are different opinions about it. Some people don't even consider it a feud because Chandra won his the last two matches against Brandon Hanna. But Brandon Hanna did win the first time, and it is definitely a feud on Twitter.
Yeah,
that is one
match feud, more like punching back and forth, the verbal punches back and forth, which were good.
We do have one. I will say this: we do have one on the list that kind of was more on social media than it was in the Schmoedown. But for the most part, the ones that were just kind of like almost entirely on social media, they didn't really come on our list. That's why like Shannon versus Roxy, as great of a feud that is, it's almost entirely on social media. It doesn't necessarily show up in like the actual Schmoedown visually.
I didn't want to I want to try to limit ourselves a little bit and not have the managers as much overall.
Yeah,
one of the players themselves. The managers, that's actually a totally different. That might be a totally different turn to 11 manager.
Right. Dagnino versus everyone. Because again, that's another one. Another kind of honorable mention would be like Dagnino versus Fife. Like that was like a feud that. But again, it's two managers. It's less of a.
And I'd want to give that proper weight, and I'd want to put that in a. That's by putting them in a managerial one would actually give that more proper weight. I think. Let us discuss that a little bit. So.
Yeah. There's some people who are making some preposterous comments, and we'll reach to those comments when we get to them a little later in the when we get into the list, saying some people may own a feud or not. But yeah,
not on our show.
But again, that's the other thing is that sometimes results matter more, and then sometimes results don't matter at all. Jennifer versus Jessica for hashtag Free Jessica.
Danny Cost.
100% Danny Cost like lost.
Koi versus internet connectivity. That's actually very true as well.
That one almost made our list as well, especially also the Kid. He also had the internet connectivity issues that fateful night.
I considered pitching the Kid versus the Buzzer, but that was more of a love situation.
That was a lot of love in that. There was definitely a lot of love in that situation. Yeah.
little angry love, but it's still love nonetheless.
Hey, if there's little buzzers running around somewhere, then we know what happened.
Little kid buzzers. Little kid buzzers. I like that.
little Canadian buzzers. All right. Paul, are you ready to turn it up to 11?
I remember, guys, again, first 2 videos are going to be sound free, so it is what it is. We did our best. And
those damn technical difficulties. All right, Paul, without further ado, here we go.
There it is, folks.
All right. Here we go, folks. Getting right into the nitty-gritty. One of the oldest rivalries in the history of the Schmoedown. The one that it wasn't the first rivalry, but it was one of the first longest running rivalries.
Right. It is the Patriots versus Top 10.
Top 10. That's right. Oh man, so much like greatness in this rivalry that, again, as we said kind of earlier, the results don't always factor into the rivalry because the Patriots won every time they faced each other, but
yeah, that's exactly, and that's probably why it's so low in our list. If like the top 10 actually won the belts from the Patriots, I think this is a rivalry that would have been a lot higher in the list. But at the end of the day, it was kind of like a hammer and nail situation. They gave good matches, they had a lot of fun with it, but the Patriots won every time. It's hard to have a rivalry continue without at least some kind of victory.
And it's also kind of like the buildup of the it wasn't even really like a buildup because the first match is the best match. That's the one the Patriots went on the last question. Then the second match is a good match. It's a close match. And then the third match, the Patriots just kind of wiped the floor with them, and that's that was it for
got to be the point. Like it was like kind of like, well, we're going to see them again at this point. It's like, I mean, how many times there's the Patriots going to win this thing at this point? So they need to face new blood at that point, I think.
Look at that little baby boat right there. Look at a baby boat.
Baby boat. He's a dinghy back then.
He's a dinghy back then. That's right, 100%. A young Brad Gilmore. Shout out to Brad Gilmore.
Well, I love him right here. Love. He's really
it's funny how this is only like 7 years ago now. It's 6 years ago, I think. But it feels like it's like 20 years ago.
It does. It really does. Look at Matt Nose. How I miss Matt Nose so much. His sarcastic dry humor is just so perfect for the show.
Oh yeah, so great. They recently did a funniest Schmoedown tweeted what's the funniest moments in the Schmoedown, and to this day the one that when Bateman he makes some comment to Nose and Nose just goes, "Good one."
It's so funny. Oh, the Schmoedown, like taking our format here and going into
right, trying to steal our thunder.
I believe we might have to turn around. Fair play might do the funniest moment at some point ourselves. It'd be a lot of fun to do, I think, right?
It's definitely going to be at some point. We're definitely going to bring in the funniest moments because there's so many of them. Again, it's going to be like one of those things. I think where we'll do like funniest promos, funniest one-liners, funniest comebacks. I think maybe we break it down a little more on that. But
Ferris, is it a rivalry on one side, he's being on the other side? It can be, as long as there's something to keep it fresh. And that's why this one works, and that's why. But that's therefore it's why it's so low on our list.
I mean, it's crazy because like at this point, it's actually a good thing to get into because JTE's come back to the league, and people maybe forget how good of a player JTE was. JTE, through this rivalry, up until they played in a live event, owned John Roca.
Yeah.
Because he beats him in season 1 with Dagnino against Top 10. The Patriots beat him 3 times. Like, he had rent free in Roca's head. So, I mean, it wasn't until
like Roca was like borderline, like just mad at the world, like he just was desperate at the end of that rivalry. He wanted nothing more than to win and beat the Patriots. He couldn't quite get it done. That's a sad thing for Rook. I could bet he'll say it doesn't bother anymore. I guarantee it bothers him still.
Well, it's funny because we talk about people who are double belted at the same time. You got your Dan Merles, you got your Rachel Cushings, you got your Mike Kalinowskis. if not for the Patriots, Rocco would have been a double belt holder.
Mm-hmm.
But he could never beat the Patriots. He just could not do it. And that's what kind of fueled the rivalry for sure. I mean, Rocco could have a rivalry with a wet mop. So I mean,
that's true. That's
when you add in Jeff Snyder, the mouthpiece of the Patriots, and Tom Vagnino, and and Grace Hancock, that was it was so many good people doing amazing work in that rivalry.
100%. So yeah, great number 11 there for us. That's a good way to start off the list.
Let's move into number 10, and here we go. Let's see here. So yeah, again, this one has no audio. Again, sorry guys. So this is going to be the rivalry of Jeannine the Machine versus Mike the Killer Kalinowski. Again, there's not a lot of footage. It was basically they only had one match together, and it was an unfortunate match for Jeannine. She spins spinner's choice and opponent's choice.
Yeah.
So or opponent's choice and then Mike got spinner's choice. She has the great line, which unfortunately we don't have the audio of, because the last line, her last answer was white bread, which is kind of the basis of the whole feud.
What I love about this one, though, is the fact that it was a fact that he's right. Actually, Mike did beat her twice. That's right. Leo's right. Mike beat her twice. But it wasn't actually the feud in the match itself. This one was more about. This was our first Twitter, social media type thing, where it wasn't about the match. It was about the personalities. It was about Jeannine and Mike just going back and forth. But the importance of this rivalry and why I would throw it where it is that it really actually helped establish Mike. It helped establish Mike beyond what he was. Mike kind of, if you remember towards the beginning, Mike was, I don't know if struggling is the right word, but struggling to find his footing about where he fit in the league, where he was, and sort of thing. This gave him a little bit of a back and forth with somebody and with the fans. Also the fans started responding to the white bread thing, and people got behind the different aspects. Some people were getting behind Mike, some people were getting behind Jeannine for the most part. But there's a little humorous side to the things that was actually just as important as fighting for a belt sometimes. Probably one of the best Machine moments, to be honest with you, as far as this goes.
Yeah, 100%. It also is. It has to do with the two different the two different characters that Mike played, because he comes in the league, he's this good guy, he's in cosplay, Batman, Captain America, all these different things, and then he turns heel, and it's because the detractors of Mike at that point started calling him a white bread baby face. And Jeannine made shirts there was a Wonder Bread shirt with Kalinowski on it. It was all over social media. It was just a great feud. Then again, it's if it had only gotten a kind of a chance to have some better matches, it would have been higher up on the list.
I mean, you never know. The greatest thing about feuds and all these ones on our list is that you never know if they're over, because they can always rekindle a feud. In wrestling, you can just do nothing with a feud for 2 years, 3 years, and all of a sudden, all it takes is a single promo. All it takes is a single a tournament where they happen to face each other, and things can kind of come back and spark up again.
Well, it's interesting because we have the free for all coming up, and the free for all has historically been where little feuds maybe build, old feuds get rekindled,
right?
Because you might run into somebody that you're a feud with, and next thing you know, it pops off. Famously, another kind of feud that was Team Action versus Late to the Party, and they had the one match, but then Vanessa knocked Ben out of the free for all, and that kind of continued to the feud. So we're gonna have a chance with the free for all, 100%. I think to rekindle some feuds.
Definitely.
All right, so we're going to move right along, I think, and we're going to go with our number 9, and here we go.
Yeah, and Intergeekdom? Yes. Yeah. Five-way match.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. We're going to do it a little different. We're going to do tournament.
I'm here with a little bit of an update regarding the Inner Geekdom tournament. Mike Kalinowski, the beautiful Mike Kalinowski, is facing off against Jared Haben, and also Coy Jandrew is facing off against the amazing Mara Kanopik, a newcomer in the Schmoedown League.
It's fun. It's gonna be fine. You're doing great. You're doing a great.
I really don't think this is a good idea, Mike.
I think people forget
they could really rekindle this one anytime now.
Today, the amazing Mara Kanopik. I
think Mike has the #1 contender match, right?
Yeah.
He gets the winner of Barbarian and
Star Trek Into Darkness.
That's correct.
Myriadoc and Brandon.
Alex Damon, yeah. So, and I think Kalinowski, I think he's favored against both of them, but some other people think probably the Barbarian or even Alex when he spent Star Wars.
I would think that just in general,
I'm willing to accept the moniker of the Brown Dwarf Star.
I think the Barbarian could shock him. I think. I love this part right here.
This is so good.
That best part right there.
Because of me.
I think people forget that like Kalinowski didn't have like a straight up heel turn. Like there's not a singular moment. It was that slow burn heel turn where he was kind of like, because he was like the man of the people and he was like going to make changes in the Schmoedown, and then we found out, oh wait, he's just doing it all for himself, and like
right.
he's blackmailing that.
Everyone's trying to push him to be heel, and it took a long time to get there. Of course, his podcast that he was doing, podcast from our fans, our friends, the earlier All About podcast, that's where they had that fake time where he pretended to be a heel way back when, and Christian loved it, heard it so much that actually didn't happen.
Mr. Blue, 1983.
Yeah.
Podcast can influence.
Literally put the same thing.
I mean, I honestly, like, when I was making these videos and watching this video, I forgot how like dominant Mara was like in that tournament. Like, she was 100%.
That was fantastic. You did a great job. I just gotta say, remember what I said earlier? You keep winning, and I'll keep winning. We'll see what happens.
They have good chemistry on screen.
They do now, yeah. Oh yeah.
He is Mike the Killer Kalinowski.
Really established himself. He really kind of really established himself as a heel. He's already there, but he was really took it and went to that level.
Well, it's kind of honestly turns heel when he picks up Brienne in the car, and we just never got that. Well, he turns heel when he flips off the screen when he loses the action. That's
the big turn.
That's the heel turn moment, I guess. But because there was no immediate follow up to that, we didn't know necessarily if he was 100% heel or what.
Right. This was kind of the follow-up with the corruption angle after that, and he kind of started really slow burning it up. Really made himself just not just heel, but like an established championship threat.
Because I'm a man of my word. I've created this entire tournament, giving you some of the best matches you have all ever seen, and here I am going for that belt.
Mike put Mara on the map. Like him, as much as like her win over Pushing was huge. She still had to beat Mike in the finals. That was like fantastic. And then they get the big match at Spectacular.
And Mike won, yeah, and that was the big thing. Mara's only lost at that point.
And shout out to Mike, because Mike knows how to build a feud, and Mike knows how to Mike knows what buttons to push to really drive a feud. Like,
absolutely. I mean, we give Mike a lot of shit for like rooting against him and everything else, but because he does his job well. Andres Gallego in the chat.
Shout out to Andres Gallego.
This is what this tournament
my homeboy.
We'll be facing each other again. You know, it's
Ghost.
We're gonna do this dance forever.
The Goat Ghost. Yeah. And
then, oh no, it's not. We got it at this point.
This is Jason Inman. You know his.
So that was a good rivalry there. It's one of my favorites of the whole list, even though we have it at that time. Was it number 9? Number 9. Wow.
Yeah, number 9. It's just because like it was only the 2 matches, and it kind of fizzled quickly, and then also because Mara left the league like shortly after that, like it almost puts like a bad taste in the mouth for the feud, because it's like, did this feud contribute to that? Like, so.
A little bit. Yeah, I get that. I mean, good news is obviously it's all bygone. If there's anything that is lingering against bygones, or bygones are friendly now. That's all definitely been under the bridge at this point. And I can't wait to see it, man. I can't wait to see Mara and maybe Mike if he can get it done. That'll be the first title defense for Mara. You get to rekindle that rivalry. Maybe it'll move up the rankings here.
Yeah, I feel like Mike at this point is the player that like he's at the level where like he could beat anybody. Like he could easily win the title. I wouldn't be like shocked if he won the title. But I also wouldn't be shocked if like he doesn't even make it to the title. Like it's like kind of like I don't expect him to go perfect or anything like that. So it's like if somebody else goes perfect, they can beat Mike. Like, but he's not gonna like shit the bed and like give you an easy match. You know, you got to earn your wins against Mike.
Yeah, most of the time he's like spot on. When he's off, he can be really off. He can be really off, as he was like spectacular against Smets, for example. But overall, you expect at least to put up a fight. So
yeah, the other thing that kind of like puts this feud at a lower kind of lower down the list is that their spectacular match wasn't there were some like I don't want to say shenanigans, but things fell certain ways, and that's why Mike got an immediate rematch with Mara, or not rematch. Yeah, like so, like because originally she was supposed to play either like Rachel Cushing, or Mike was supposed to play a number one contenders match against like either Cushing or somebody else, and they couldn't do it or wouldn't do it, and so Mike just got a title shot, which is why Mara got an immediate title shot because she accepted the match. Also, I know at that point Mara was having health issues, which kind of like, you know, derails the feud a little bit there.
Yeah, definitely. And that's definitely why it's knocked down a little bit. But overall, it's still a awesome feud. And I guess I hope it doesn't get rekindled because I want to see them go against each other again.
Well, and again, it's also like kind of like we said the last episode, where like if you're in the top 11 of any list, that could be somebody's favorite. That could be somebody's number one. Like number one, there you go, Leo Logan. Mike was supposed to play, and I know he's supposed to play Cushing as well. Like that was the other option, but they were supposed to have a number one contenders match, and it didn't happen. They had the title shot instead. Right. Let me highlight him real quick just to put it
Leo
up
Logan.
there.
Mike was supposed to play
Inman.
Leo Logan's a walking Wikipedia as far as
he's on it. But I am excited for them to rekindle the feud. Hopefully we get more great matches from them. But yeah, so let's move on, I think, to our next feud. It's number 8.
This is a special one in my heart.
Oh, this is a big one. Here we go.
You got it, baby. Top 10 versus the greatest team of all time in my heart.
A lot of people that gathered here today watched Roca basically be old Yeller. Okay, I've got a shotgun.
These old promos are so good.
Ridiculous teammate.
Back when Peyton was the boss.
Oh, was he?
There's a lot of pretenders in this league. New teams coming out of the woodwork. I'm going to play somebody good. I got one question for Mance and everybody else. Where's the belt?
Oh, God, I love this.
Your guy was born to wear, dude. Man, oh. This is
that's really awesome. Is it the hardest
so
thing
what
the hardest
this
thing
is
for you to
really
say in your whole life? No, this is awesome. I'm a massive wrestling
This
fan.
match is my favorite match.
The X-Pac come in.
Yep, X-Pac thing happened. They spin opponents. The boys spin spinners.
6, 8.
What? They went even. They went even.
This is insane.
That
was him on the last one.
To answer
Head games going on.
why is
Right here. Wait.
My head. Are you fucking kidding me?
He's paying
My actions way for everything.
Yes.
Dumb shit.
Must be the scoreboard getting in your head then.
Let the scoreboard get in your head.
This is why we play Schmoedown.
Our favorite lines in Schmoedown.
Primary villain
good.
does Spidey
So
square
good.
off against in 2002's Spider-Man?
I love Bateman's face here.
Crowd, please
guys,
keep it down.
celebrating already.
Yeah, he knows it.
We need an answer.
He starts smiling as they walk off.
Right, it's coming up. Our favorite moment is coming up.
Top 10 is already leaving. I'm not
You
sure
know
if
what I'm
that's-
talking about.
I guess it would be the Green Goblin.
And
Here he comes. This is the best right here.
There it is. That's what it is.
Here he comes. And there it is.
this is really what established team
That's three.
action.
We got one more.
Oh,
This
100%. This is
ridiculous
the biggest
team, this
win
new
of their
team, this
career,
sensation
100%.
team. What the hell are they called again? I don't care.
Top 10 will play the loser of the finals at the Schmoedown Spectacular for the #1 contender spot.
And this
Whether
was
it's
sad
above the
though.
line or
They
action,
made them
that's gonna
face each
happen.
other right away again. That's spectacular. That was a fine match. You know, losing by 1 above the line.
Yeah,
No
being
doubt.
relevant again.
Yeah, guys, the bathroom's that way.
This is the pizza boy.
To come in and crack
This is
the
back in
interviews
the
of a
day
team
when
that
we
destroyed
used to
That's
feud
really
with
cool.
other factions.
Oh yeah.
That's
true.
Stupid in there.
Oh.
And lost 3 questions, gentlemen, in your own category.
You guys are gonna lecture
Nate,
us
you
about
stole your
shitting
name
the
from
bed
that.
in big moments? Are you kidding me? The whole league. Just because you're in a high.
The funny thing, we're not talking much over this. We just want to hear these lines.
Oh, we just want to watch it.
Got Team
They're
Jeopardy
good.
question. What I love is that you can say.
I feel bad for Emma having to stand there in between these
We're never
poor
gonna lose. You
people.
get the fuck out of it. You guys are losers. You're still
Right,
losers.
these
You're still
fours.
losers. Get out of here. Get out of here.
He'll
Get out
smack
of
in the
goddamn-
face.
Roca.
How about this? How about this, little baby?
What are you doing
See,
here?
other people are allowed to talk now, sweetheart. Here's the deal. We challenge you to a fucking
We're not
match.
gonna play you,
Let's
dude.
do it.
You're a loser.
Because you fuckers got lucky the first time around between us. Now play us knowledge versus
Back when you could
knowledge.
curse in the Schmoedown?
Yeah, that's true.
Pick you on Facebook, Roca.
What do you mean, your girlfriend?
We hear your challenge
Right there.
and fuck off. We're not playing you guys. You lost in a big match.
Emma's like, what do I
Play us
do?
exactly.
What do I do with my hands?
Back when Ben Bateman,
We're one step closer.
back when Ben Bateman was
Get out of here. Roca.
Oh, I guess we gotta highlight this because they did
Pay
chat
for
it
it.
in.
Roca, go drink.
BC
Top 10
top 10
over
greater
everything.
than what? Greater than 80 years old? Greater than, I don't know.
Greater
Greater
than Team Trek?
Team Trek, greater than...
And well, thank you for the $5 donation. Oh man, this match was
That was a
heartbreaking. Oh.
That did lead to a good moment, though.
But again, it was like the first match, everything went reaction's way. The second match, everything went top 10's way.
Oh no!
There's a great moment in Schmoedown
That's
history.
right.
Drew Guy.
Danny with the
tackles
chat.
outlaw John Roca. Drew Guy, Ben Bateman having to restrain his teammate.
John Kaiser to swear.
He looks to be okay,
Also
but
those good old days. That's right. Yeah, right.
Oh, man.
Laugh for a
It,
second.
it is true that if it hadn't been like such a bad loss, then they probably could have like continued the feud. But again, that moment was the tackle was going to happen no matter what. But again, this also led into so many other great things, like because we don't get the tackle, we don't get the second tackle, we don't get the match in Houston. Like, but yeah, this is also back when they thought Roca was Guy's dad. Like
that was the storyline
rumor.
they kind of pitched. He was the dad. And Christian hated that. Oh my God, Christian hated that. They brought that in. Oh my God,
the original storyline Christian hated that the fans put forward.
That's right. Dale the Dude was there. I remember that whole time when Dale the Dude was like backing top 10 at that point. And
then Bateman played Dale the Dude.
Yep, that's right. It was a Eagles match. I do remember that time that Ben and Drew kind of weren't thrilled about having to face top 10 again because they just had faced each other, wanted to build up, but it was just the way the scheduling had worked out and made sense to have that kind of match. So you can tell it almost like they weren't as into that second match, and when they got beat so bad, it was a rough loss. But
yeah,
what they did what they did best, I will say, is they were professional about it. They never let a loss interfere with their whatever they had to do, cutscene wise or theatrical wise. They did what they had to do.
Storyline wise, yeah.
Storyline wise, it leads to a great moment. Everybody still talks about the tackle, and it led to, and it always leads from one thing to another. It leads from Guy to it led to Guy being. I still believe Guy's Roca's son. Thanks, Weston. Led to Guy being suspended, which led to that great free-for-all entrance, which led to the return of Dan Merle and Collision.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it was like the domino effect.
Right? So at the end
this
of the
was
day,
the butterfly in the woods that caused the hurricane. That
and we're calling that number 8 on our list.
Now the one thing we will say, the number 8 on the list is because there's no belts involved. There's no, and it was over a very short. It feels like it was over this like long period of time. It was basically the team's tournament, Ultimate Schmoedown, to Spectacular. That was the end of the feud. So
Yeah.
You know, the individual members kind of continued the feud, but it was maybe even to this day. But for Team Action versus Top 10, that's where it ended.
Part of the whole thing. That's the original part of the whole thing. And guys, I mean, if you can get Dale Dude in the dungeon as a person, man, that'd be great, man. Let's see him come back.
Hey, I'm 100% down for that. Everyone can go in the dungeon. Everybody. Hopefully hopefully he can fit the dress code of the dungeon. Just saying. That's all I got to say.
Guys are going to make Bateman fit the dress code of the dungeon. I think you can make anybody fit the dress code of the dungeon.
I'm just saying. I think the dress code of the dungeon might be changing. I don't know. All right.
All right.
So that's number 8. If that's number 8, then what do we got in store for us? Let's move right along. Number 7. Here we go.
Chance Ellison, he is now the youngest champion of all time, right? Mike Kalinowski is
So we got
Dan Murrell's the 3-time champion. John Rock has had the team championship and the singles championship twice.
The old men.
They've had beef in the past.
Founding Fathers versus
It's
Corruption.
a ridiculous decision. I'm coming for all of them.
Classic.
No controversy this time, so at least I can go home.
Every
beat myself
match
up.
was a classic. Like,
right?
Shout out to Nerd Chronic. This is a Nerd Chronic promo that I am using to highlight this feud because he tells better stories than I do and ever will. So,
right? Sometimes you just gotta sit back and watch a Nerd Chronic promo. That's all you need to do.
Take them belts off you and shut down.
This feud is like an extension of like a lot of. There we go. I love it. I love it.
It was a
the dungeon takes all kinds, takes all clothes. But this is like such an extension of so many other feuds. It's so great.
Every match had big moments. Every match had some kind of controversy.
You got David O. Russell. You got mispronunciations. You got all these different things.
You had the greatest, one of John Roca's probably greatest promos in the history of his promos.
Yeah, 100%. The war promo is I mean, Chance tweets out that he's ready for war, and then John Roca just gives that "I was born in war" promo. Oh my God! Still, in that Orlando crowd, it was like all for the founding fathers. Like,
it shook Kalinowski. Later on, he mentioned like Shannon.
He talked about it on there.
Well, we did. We kept him nice and warm, nice and toasty, sitting on these broad shoulders of ours.
Thing is, this isn't Orlando anymore. It's a new year, new season. More importantly, it's a new me.
You know, Chance had a good IG. So did Kalinowski. We'll see how it goes in real life now. This ain't space. Barney versus Gucci. They sell Gucci at Barney's. That's a big difference.
Oh, what? You thought I was gonna come in here, guns a-blazing, ready to talk a bunch of shit?
I was thinking about Kalinowski the long time. That's me a feud right there.
Yeah, that was a feud we didn't get enough of a payoff of. Was Andrew Guy versus Kalinowski because they were supposed to play in Houston.
Schmoedown history. We are meeting a team on the battlefield.
And he let him up to the tournament.
This is mine.
The other thing to remember is that we didn't know who Chance Ellison was when
about to come back home to us.
And that first Corruption versus Founding Fathers match was like the solidified that he is as good as advertised.
In that ring.
The real
All that
deal.
talk doesn't mean a damn thing.
The only words that I care about coming out of their mouths are the answers to the questions on Friday night.
Maybe not. I don't trust in fantasy
Schmoedown
football, so
history
I'm not.
to cash in a title shot and win the title.
Oh, it would take a miracle for the Founding Fathers to beat Corruption. There are miracles in the air tonight!
Oh yeah, speaking of the free-for-all, you know what the best thing about winning it is?
It's shown
I know what it's like to have free
I love that. Having Dan, like the evolution of Dan of being able to create promos and create.
Yeah.
But he didn't do that at first. He couldn't really handle that much. Now he gave some great promos. This ends that spectacular and all that kind of stuff that he did like earlier on. It's great now.
His first really good promo is the promo after they lost that first match, where he basically blamed himself for losing, and that was like a great promo. No, that's not true. His first great promo was after he lost to Andrew Guy. That's his first.
Yeah.
Which writer behind films like Annabelle, Annabelle Creation, and The Nun also directed the film Annabelle Comes Home?
Buddy,
I've always trusted
I
you.
feel good about it.
I've always trusted you. I concur. Our 5-pointer. I always trust you. We go with my friend. We go.
Gary Dabman, final answer.
And your winners and there it is. I love the cut to Shannon, and Shannon's too busy running down Mike.
That'll be the best moment right there. That's such a great moment.
You just hear her scream.
That's you.
What I want to see is if Dan and Ben become a team win the titles, I want to see Kaiser's there running into the ring and hugging Bateman like that.
Back and forth.
You got that, Kaiser?
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
You're the best team, my friend. They play.
Do you want to see Kaiser jumping into his arms the way that he jumped into his arms? Like
maybe not Bateman because Bateman has his bad back.
Bateman couldn't carry a tune, let alone
couldn't talk to them. I knew it. Merle,
yeah, I love that the Chance slow rolled Mike on the last question in the finals or this match.
Jesus, guys, Merle and Roca, I bow to you, gentlemen.
And then that's the thing with Mike, man. That's the other thing with Mike. Mike will feud with anybody, but at the end of the day, it's about respect. Respect for the league, respect for the game. You know, and that's
Mike has great respect for everybody. I mean, he comes out; he's a great at doing that what he does, but he definitely has respect level for everybody.
He knows how to push everybody's buttons, and it's because I think he respects everybody. Like that's the thing. Like you if you don't understand somebody without respect, so. But yeah, oh man, so good. And again, like founding fathers.
Hold on, guys, it might have been broken. Looks like we put in a copyright claim, possibly. Maybe we'll see. Are we down? Let's see.
Are we really?
It might be. We come back. Stream suspended for policy violation. All right. Let's wait a minute. Maybe they'll come back. I don't know if it comes back from this or not. I guess we can't use just the if we use the.
I guess we can't do that. Okay.
We need some music.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe we can't use the Chronic promos like directly as the Chronic promos. Let's say, I guess we wait.
We need to stop and start again, or
we could. But let's wait here. For
that's not going to show up on anything but us, there, Paul.
I know. I do that. I just have for us to see it.
Oh my gosh! Wow. When did that hit?
I don't know. Let's see. I'm rewinding it now. It was about a minute ago.
Like middle of the promo. Wow, we made it all the way through that thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of like if we're
back. We're back.
We're back?
Like, I think we might be back. We're back. Hey!
Okay. Hey!
We're gonna try it again. We'll keep rolling. We're gonna see what happens.
Maybe we won't play the audio from the videos then.
I don't know if we can. Or we'll turn it down. I don't know what to say. Fuck it. Let's do it. We'll try it. If you guys are good to go try it, we're good to try it, right?
100%. Hey, you're not really officially a show until you get your first copyright strike, right?
Kaiser, can you finish the rest of your joke though?
I need to hear more about this lumberjack and this,
let me see if I can find a priest and a lumberjack walk into a bar. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Let's keep going. Let's see what happens.
All right. So, so the founding fathers, Corruption, great feud. Again, pretty much all of their matches had title implications.
Right.
And they, for the most part, they came down to 5-pointers. They came down to last for, that's the newest rivalry is the C2A versus YouTube. But yeah, so guys are going to give us some legal help. Wes Nairo showing up in the chat. Good thing John Kaiser is here in case you need legal help. We need all the legal help we can get, I think, at this point. But yeah, Any final thoughts on the Founding Fathers versus?
I think we go with that one. I think we should try to move along, and we got six or one to go. We're gonna try it again. Let us know if we go off again, and we'll try to limp through.
Number 6.
Yeah, we'll do it. What the hell? Let's give it a shot.
This is a big one.
Cross your fingers, guys. Let's try again.
You ready to do this one more time, champ?
I plan on doing this many more times. It's been 1 year.
I'll turn down the volume.
And I
see what happens.
don't want to lose it. I don't see
This is like one of my favorite scenes
we both beat Drew.
ever. And there we go.
We heard a rumor.
These guys facing off against each other.
Check how you were feeling.
It's one of those. I wish we could have gotten like 10 more matches between them. Like,
yeah, these are the haymakers back and forth they did.
Oh, that's cool. You know what?
Haymakers back and forth. Maybe actually, it's probably the music that did, honestly. So maybe we just skip through.
probably, yeah. I think there's only one other one that has that we might have to worry about the music, so we'll be on the lookout for that.
This was great. This is great. Finally, the Patriots finally met their match. That was what everybody wanted to see because the Patriots are great heels. They're true great heels, like Roddy Piper style. You want to see him get beaten finally by somebody. That's above the line one he does.
I think the greatest part of this feud is that it's like watching a movie and you expect the good guy to win in the end, right? So you have this whole build-up of Sam and McWeeny joining forces to become above the line. They roll through the teams tournament. They beat Team Action at the end, and you're thinking, all right, finally, this is the team that's going to take care of the Patriots.
Right.
And they don't.
Right.
They lose.
Right.
And they have to come back.
Best that could have happened to the rivalry, though. Best that could have happened to the rivalry.
100%. Because I think even though the Patriots were like 7-0 and they defended the titles 4 times heading into this match. A lot of people were saying Above the Line is the favorite. Above the Line is, they're going to win.
I'm excited.
They don't win. Now it's who's going to win. We don't know who's going to win either.
Right.
That's a good one, Sam. But you know what? The champions, we still need to get ready.
I do think it was a mistake for the Patriots to try to win the titles in an Iron Man match against.
That choice was that was Above the Line's choice. They did it. They smartly did it because, quite frankly, point for point here, Above the Line has more consistent knowledge than the Patriots had. The Patriots were a little better at the game. The Patriots, so they could match up with the Above the Line in the game by making an Iron Man match. That's when the Above the Line's knowledge kind of went over.
Yep. There they are, winning the titles. Or retaining the titles. Huge moment. I mean,
it don't even look like it.
What a match. 33-32. Comes down to Remember the Titans. This started the whole Remember the Titans thing.
Right. What a great moment of the rivalry, right?
Because I think they missed 2 Remember the Titans questions in that match.
Repeat the question, please.
Yeah.
And then this one,
This was it, the moment.
I could not believe they missed this question. This is my first Schmoedown moment of I knew the answer and they did it, and I was like,
could be it, boys. Robert Duvall.
This is rough to watch as a Patriots fan.
It went again.
Oh, really? Oh, son of a bitch. All right, well, I guess we can't do videos anymore. What the hell?
At least not these videos. Maybe we can do differently. All right, let's calm down. We'll try no more audio.
Yeah.
No more audio.
JTE is a human garbage pail kid, Ken Knapsack.
Let's we're back.
How did we make it through the entire first episode with no problems whatsoever?
Because there wasn't any music, and it was stuff that you made. You made clips of them.
Yeah, that's true.
You didn't make,
and this one, they played pretty much the whole first interview video.
This is just straight stuff. I think next time we can try it again next week or next time, but we'll just.
I'll do just clips, clip together and stuff.
Clips together, yeah.
Who's in charge of their copyright strikes? It's probably an automated thing.
Collider. It's part of Collider. So.
Oh, that's true. All right.
There we go. A piece of a bagpiper walking to a bar. I got it now.
Danny said, "Do you want me to send Kaiser?"
Hey, we're back again.
Hey, there we are.
Or as I put Kaiser's thing on the, or I put Kaiser's comment on the screen. It's all time Kaiser's fault somehow. All right, we get it. We get it. We think last time we had no problem last time because we specifically made clips of different things. This was we more relied on the Great Nerd Chronics promos, which does play a lot of music. So we're not gonna do music anymore. We're just gonna play the video without the audio, and we'll make this work out as it is.
And I think we'll cut the video a little short too. I think we'll just kind of like to highlight some things. We'll try to. We're gonna try to get through this, guys. So, but yeah, above the line versus the Patriots was huge. Let's go to the next one, which is
all right. Thanks for hanging in with us, guys. We appreciate that. And as always, you're right. # free Andrew guy. That's always the way we want to do it.
100%.
Appreciate you out. So let's move on to number 5. I wish we could have the video shared, but we'll see what happens. No audio. Let's do it.
All right, number 5. Here we go. Man, I'm upset there's no audio on this one.
Yep. There it is.
There it is. There's John Kaiser. There he is, the man, the legend.
The man, the legend.
This is
Kevin Smets, the Smasher, versus Mike Kalinowski. Wow, this one had some heat. This one had
such a great match. So many great matches. So many great moments. Promos. This is the Don't Tell Peter, which is now infamous in the Schmoedown.
I still get upset about that, even though I shouldn't. I still get upset about that.
But I mean, it's like the fact that he rolled with it and continued afterwards to regain the comeback.
He used it. He used it to fuel it.
100%. Yeah.
He kept saying it. He said it more than anybody else did. More than the pundits did. More than Christian did. More than anybody else. He would bring it up all the time. That's right. I said, "Don't tell Peter." I said, "Don't tell Peter." I said, "Don't tell Peter." And it doesn't matter. Don't tell Peter because I'm going to get.
Well, and it's funny because so he misses "Don't tell Peter," a slip of the tongue, and then Kalinowski's 5-point question, which is a difficult 5-point question. Kalinowski had studied it right before the match. He had studied the Jerry Goldsmith Star Trek scores and soundtracks, and that's how he gets the 5-pointer.
Right.
And then I feel bad for Adam Plavik. He gets just run over. He beats Chandru in a number 1 contenders match to get back to the title.
Spectacular.
And then spectacular. He just
leave no doubt. Person and Kevin Smets just wrecked shop. Kalinowski got so upset at this he stormed off. It was just a brutal match for Kalinowski, and Smets just went perfect and did exactly what he did. He called his shot, said he was going to go perfect and beat Kalinowski for the title, and it's exactly what he did.
It was
electric.
Go ahead.
That crowd was electric at that point. Killed it. Completely killed it.
It was definitely you felt like Smets wanted to make sure that there was no way it was going to come down to 1 point, like a 1 question. Right. There wasn't going to be a slip of the tongue that could somehow cost him the match. He was just going to do what needed to be done because that's what Kevin Smets does. Is he does what needs to be done, and that's what he's doing now. And as Weston Iro says in the chat, smash cancer.
Smash cancer. Absolutely.
100%.
It's actually what that led to one of my big moments too. That night afterwards is a video that Late to the Party put up.
Late to the Party.
It was them outside when Smasher and Bateman were there, and they all just went Action Army together because Action Army. And Smets wasn't there was no faction for the Action, but it was obvious the Action Army was backing Smets the whole way. We had
100%. Yeah.
So you really felt that. it was a great moment overall. So it was like the culmination, the final of a great rivalry. And it's not to say it's over. It's not to say it's over. That was the end of it for now. Obviously, things have gone differently. The pandemic struck. Kevin has his issues that he's dealing with, and he will. But when he kicks Cancer's ass, when he comes back stronger than ever, I think we will get another match. Another match with Kalinowski, and I can't wait for it because those two.
Oh yeah, one way or another, they're gonna lock horns again. It's fun in the video. There's a promo with Kalinowski after the "Don't Tell Peter" thing, and he's basically saying like Kevin Smets is like, you know, he's gonna be playing him. He'll see him again. He's gonna play him again because Kevin Smets is too good, and Kevin Smets is what the IG division needs, and that's what I mean. He was the first pure IG division star. Like, there were some other IG players that kind of, maybe Mara actually.
Cushing, like, Mara, Mike, they were all big.
Cushing was in like 3 divisions from the start. You know, same thing with Edmund. Like Edmund was in like 3 divisions from the start. Like Mara and Kevin were the first 2 like pure IG players that were complete stars. They kind of really like made the IG division what it is. Because before them and before the tournament with Kalinowski, and I'll give credit to Kalinowski as well, the IG was like, okay, we're going to have a 5-way to determine a number 1 contender, and then that person will play it spectacular, and that's going to be our like 2 IG matches of the year. Like maybe they'll defend it another time. Maybe, you know?
Just want to highlight this, John Kaiser. This community has lifted my best friend's spirit, and I'm grateful as hell to you all. Man, it's not. That's no sweat. Like we love Kevin. We love you, John. Obviously, we love you, man. So like we're happy to do it. We got your back. We got his back.
And it's 100% like right back. Like Kevin lifts my spirits like all the time. John, same thing, man. Every time I see you, every time I see you in the comments anywhere, it lifts the spirits, man.
Yeah, I see Kaiser talking. I start smiling because I know he's gonna make my day. He's gonna make me laugh.
100%.
Smiles and brighten my day. And Smets posts things like he does today. The other day he posted his shot of him entering those worst moments. But all I can see when I see those shots of him is like that's a warrior right there. That's a warrior. I'm so inspired. Hell yeah. Can't wait for my boy to come back. Kevin Smets is an amazing individual, and bringing that home to the dungeon. That's gonna be a fucking awesome time for everybody. So. Much love from the Action Army.
For sure. All right, we're gonna move right into
number 4.
Number 4, top 4. I wonder what could be at number 4.
Who could be number 4?
Team top 10.
Is it? It is.
There he is.
It involves John Roca. Number 4.
It's the one that started it all, everybody.
Wrong banner.
It's the best one.
There you go. Dan Murrell versus John Roca.
Oh, right. Yeah, wrong one.
Dan Murrell versus John Roca. This was the first huge moment, I think, on the Schmoedown. I think we had like the tournament in the very first season. You know, you have Riley winning belts. That's a big moment. Cougar's moments in there had some big rivalries, but this was John Roca's travels. He was going up against Dangerous Dan Murrell, and it was like, could anybody beat Dangerous Dan Murrell? Roca was definitely underdog, and there it is. That moment where he wins, his voice breaks.
Yeah,
and he wins the title. Such a powerful moment, even as a TCY was against Roca with Team Action. That was a great moment and a great feud as well. These two together, such a feud that they turned with each other and became a team, a super team. Great moments, man. It's a great old time.
Well, and it's funny because Roca, at one point, I remember him talking about how it was actually at the draft when he gets drafted 4th overall. He has a winning record against everybody else in his faction. And yet he wins the first 2 matches against Dan. He wins the team's match season 2 against Riley and Murrell. Then he wins the title. You know, Dan finally got a win in the triple threat that we just saw there. But then we get this. This is when, you know, the 5 Horsemen happens. You know, the reveal of Dan Murrell as the 5th Horseman.
Yeah.
The Anarchy happens. We get the Founding Fathers.
Right.
the Founding Fathers got off to an interesting start. You know, they win their first match, but then they lose to Corruption. Then they lose to Corruption again. Like, so they lose to Corruption twice, and then it's like they had to use Dan's cash-in to get to the belts.
Yep.
They win the belts, amazing, you know, riding high, best of friends. Then they lose the belts, and then they lose in the tournament, and now they're no longer friends again. The rivalry has been renewed.
And Roca calls out Merle. Does the calling out the respectful to a degree? I respect you, but I'm sick of being number 2 kind of thing, or sick of being number 4 rather. And as Vincent Exchange went, but I'm glad to see them going back. Actually, I like them against each other better than I like them for each other. To be honest with you, them as rivals makes a lot more fun. I think it's a lot more fun to watch. I believe.
Oh, 100%. I mean, also, like, I've said it before, like, Roca is a better heel than he is a face. Like,
100%.
We got good promos from Roca when he was a face, but they were more heel-esque promos, like Born in War, like yelling at people. Like, it's when you could see the Outlaw like simmering back to the surface, the Man in Black simmering back to the surface, and then post Spectacular, like you said, it starts out in like this nice. You think you're just getting like your run of the mill posts, like you did a great job, like blah 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 blah, and then he even says like I disagree with that with that, you know, that you're not the best. You are the best, but then he says, but it took too much for you to be the best, and I'm not taking a backseat to anybody, and it's like.
Right.
And Jen Sturger's face during that promo, kind of like Emma Fyfe in the action and top 10 photo or promo. Right. Jen Sturger's face like sells the promo. Like
it does. That's what she does a lot. I mean, she's really underrated for that and really undersung. For that. I mean, people love her and talk about her, but she's just that adds that to a promo or to an interview that makes you believe it even more than you would. It's so perfect. I gotta tell you.
John Kaiser.
Why does Billy look like he's cosplaying as Ernest Hemingway right now? That's a good question.
Well, first of all, on Call Live, I was cosplaying as someone who lost to Sylvester Stallone in an arm wrestling match. Tonight, I'm cosplaying as Ernest Hemingway. We're going to do a whole series of Billy cosplays without knowing that he's cosplaying. Oh, man. I don't know why I quit drinking, so I don't know why I shouldn't be looking Hemingway-esque.
All right, let's move on.
Continuation of this rivalry. This is definitely one of the rivalries that is like, and again, it's only the rivalry itself is only like 3 matches, but like, it's been going
more now. It's going to be more now. They're going to have to play lock horns at some point this season, I believe. Dungeon versus Exchange is going to be a real thing. So
100%. Yeah. And now it's going to be interesting because now you're going to add in some new people with Roca.
Mm-hmm.
You know, JTE comes into that rivalry. The Barbarian is simmering around, you know, and then all these new rookies. So, because that's also, that promo, he also said he's going to forge the Finstock Exchange by himself, you know. So.
Yep. And we also get Bateman and Roca again, too. So having Bateman on Myrtle's side makes it for an interesting angle.
Always good to see Bateman versus Roca. I'll take it 100 times.
All right. Billy's got those weird drugs. The FBI don't even know about that could be. We can't talk about that on air, though. We already got suspended twice. We already got suspended twice. Any more time, we might get suspended for the 3rd time at that point.
I mean, I am a retired counter narcotics agent for the DEA, so I might know some people. But moving on. We're going to get into number 3 here.
Number 3. Let's do it.
And here we go.
The first time I met John Roca was on Movie Fights. I was sitting right next to him. Someone asked.
And there it is. You know right away who this is. It's Scott Mans versus Cameron Diaz. That bitch. Oh, I mean, no, it's not.
It's a different
bitch. Scott Mans versus John Roca. That bitch.
This is the one that started it all. This is the one that was across like several different channels and programs and across the space. It was kind of put Schmoedown rivalries on the map, if you will.
Yeah, it really. This is the first time the wrestling side of things that Christian wanted for the Schmoedown. The wrestling side of things. This is where it first finally started to come out. John was like the first real individual guy who really understood the wrestling angle completely. I mean, you had the man who was entertaining. You had Dagnino who was entertaining and did some stuff. But Roca seemed to know exactly what Christian was going for with the sport versus and the wrestling angle.
Yeah,
giving him someone to work against in Mance just get our first rivalry. It really felt like a wrestling show at this point.
100%. Yeah, it's funny because famously, when the top 10 lost to the Patriots and lost the belts, Mance runs on stage and starts flipping off Roca and is like celebrating with the Patriots.
Right?
And it's funny because that's when I first got into the Schmoedown, and I thought Mance was in the Lion's Den because he was celebrating with the Lion's Den. And then like the next time they did a promo, I was like, wait, where's that other guy that was like flipping off Roca?
Makes so much sense. I love it. There you go, Christian laughing his ass off.
It gives us the great moment of Bespin, which is the gift that just keeps on giving, even
even today. He said he's over it, but I think it still gets him a little bit, just a little bit.
Well, I mean, you got to be over it because you've won, so many titles since then, and who cares? But it's still like anytime he appears on screen in the comments, somebody's going to be mentioning Bespin or.
Got the shirt in the face moment.
Oh yeah, it's at the end of the match. Yeah, it's actually in the video. You get that because it's he loses on Bespin, then he comes back and wins. And it's funny to see like doing these videos. It's funny to see like what the caliber of questions were. Mm-hmm. Like what was considered a 5-pointer back then versus now.
Wait, are we watching Roca's top 10 meltdowns right now? Not yet. That's going to be a future episode, I believe. We're going to make that a future episode.
A future episode.
We'll invite you on as a guest for that one, Kaiser.
There it is. He wore the shirt in. Yeah. But like,
actually, I remember my favorite parts about that whole thing is when he missed Bespin, he lost that match. Like Mance couldn't believe it and didn't want it to end that way.
Mance thought
he's like,
Mance thought he was on purpose.
He's like, what? There's no way you missed that. There's no way you missed that. I want your best. I want to face you again. I want that to happen. And like, it was a great add to the rivalry there.
Mance's 5-pointer here that he could have won on, or at least taken the lead on, was how many Infinity Stones are there in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? And Mance said 2.
Yeah, here it is. The shirt.
Here it is. He turns his back, throws the shirt. And he does the post-match interview. He said, I'll play Mance anytime he wants if he can earn the shot.
Yep. Done.
Roca. Oh man. What a great rivalry.
First, going to throwing John Carter comments out because he's great there. Why does Roca and Scott look like two guys telling cowboy stories to a third grade classroom?
You're not wrong. Oh my God. Because we don't have the audio, we missed the greatest line ever when Roca calls Mance a cocaine donkey.
Cocaine donkey, that's right. Oh man,
it's so good. Oh,
so good. Oh god, that's so funny. So that's number 3. That's number 3 in our list.
Number 3.
We only have 2 left.
That's right. So let's get right into number 2.
Number 2. And it's a big one, guys.
Yeah! Who's the boss now, bitch?
I had to do the line up for that one. It's it. Team Action Civil War. Andrew guy.
Want us together. The reason we are here. The reason for the season.
Where's it, Ben, the boss?
First of all, if one of us has a pair of balls, it's me.
I don't keep like going up and down. Hopefully, I kind of hear the guy talk at this point.
Oh, here we go.
So well done.
Emma telling him they can pick anybody they wanted, and then Guy going behind and saying, "Yeah, I got a little idea of what I can do." And Burnett trying to make Burnett it down a saying.
That's what it was.
The reveal of the Godfather, Drew McQueenie, as his partner.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Perfect. And then
And there it is. The family beating Bateman and Nina. So here we go. Let's go back to the beginning. We actually, obviously, they had corruption. They brought Guy was suspended for a while. We put Bateman with Riley for him. Who's the boss? Who's the boss is a great run. They have a great run. They almost make it to the title. Lose out to the Shire Wolves at the end. And that's it.
Ooh, that looked like it hurt. My.
I have to keep throwing it in there all night.
What a great promo. Oh.
Right. So so Bateman and Drew have the moment backstage where and Bateman basically says, I want to stick with Riley. We have the tackle, and this leads to the greatest civil war in history. And it's because the only reason I think it's not number one, the only reason is because there wasn't a belt involved. Who are those guys? Who are those fuckers?
Yeah.
But it's only because they didn't have a belt. But everything else about this rivalry was pretty much perfect to a degree, because it got the fans that involved. The fans.
So when we were first debating this, I honestly kind of like forgot that the rivalry doesn't end in Houston.
No,
like the rivalry continues after
the family.
And this
beats Bateman and Dagnino, and then the family beat Who's the Boss.
I don't know if you all noticed in that video. You may have seen two handsome gentlemen in the front row when Bateman is walking by. There. There's some people. I don't know why is this one so high up on the list. I don't understand. There's Paul flip flopping back and forth, high fiving Riley when Ben spins spinners.
I like Riley. I didn't like Bateman at that point.
Oh, Riley. I wish you'd been there, Brandon Buckingham. I really wish you'd been there. He said, I almost went to this event. Really wish I did.
That was the best live event in the history of the Schmoedown, as far as I'm concerned.
100% from top to bottom, beginning to end.
This is great. And look at these moments in here. Drew spinning, like Ben spinning Spinner's Choice, and then spinning it again.
I mean, this feels like.
Oh, wow! Oh, no way! Oh, man.
And I gotta say,
there we go. This is when I broke Christian Harloff. Christian Harloff was broken.
Belford was so mad. And here it is, the ballsy moment from Bateman.
At this point, I don't even care. Let's go. Come on, let's go. Pick your category. Let's go.
If you want to spin away from it again, I'll let you.
I'd like to let the fans decide. You guys think I should stick with Spinner's Choice in my category?
You can't spin again.
Can't spin
Those
again.
are the rules. You already gave us.
We're going to shut down. I don't want to do too much.
Yeah,
but that was a ballsy moment, right? Bateman's like, spin again, and he does it again.
No, it wasn't a ballsy moment. He's up by like 20 points at that point. It's over.
Still ballsy enough that's never been done. It's a fun moment that no one's ever done before. It's kind of cool. It was cool to see. I got to tell you. I will say that. Then, of course,
and then we get the more furniture problems for the action.
God, I mean, damn. Drew was trying to give Ben a chair to sit down after a long match. And then Ben takes it and smacks him on the back like that. Come on.
The forgotten thing that is from this is Andrew gets up and then he does the Ric Flair flop, which is
so perfect.
Danny can't handle this. Danny can't handle this.
The funniest part was when Drew actually told us earlier on that Drew practiced that, and Ben actually hit him with a chair like in the lip. The first time he was trying to hit him in the stomach.
Here's the greatest man alive, Brandon Hanna, cosplaying as Ben Bateman.
So good. So some people will say this was a rivalry because Bateman won twice and he won resoundingly both times. But I don't really care about that. This is such a rivalry for every other reason. I mean, first of all, family does get some wins, and second of all, how much did this dominate Schmoedown storytelling? How much of this domination went on storytelling? It's still ringing true today. Even through today, there's still stuff going on that you're like, there's some Bateman guy action going on somewhere at some point. Yeah. So I think this has been the most celebrated rivalry. And I know I'm biased. I admit I'm biased. I'm team action fan.
In our corner, 100%. In most of the Schmoedown, I would say as well. It's like we say, if it's in the top 11, it's somebody's favorite rivalry across the board. Again, the only thing that The only argument against it is that there's no belts on the line. The closest thing we have is we have the semifinals, the teams tournament, and then a number one contenders match.
Right. Another comment from John Kaiser that's absolutely true. We're not going to see this video. Is Guy and Smasher doing keg stands the flight home. Well, the keg stand, but they did drink every bottle of tequila on the plane. That's a true story.
I do have the picture. We have that picture that the Guy sent us of them drinking tequila on the plane.
The whole time through. That is such
that's another part, the forgotten part of Houston is that's Kevin's interview with Ken Knapsack in the ring. Yep. You know, man, so many great moments from Houston.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, it was
a
rough
Guy. It happened that way, but you know what? Unfortunately, those matches unfortunately didn't live up to.
And I will say, in the number one contenders match, Drew went a little bit too character heavy. I think it kind of maybe distracted him from the trivia because he missed a couple ones that he wouldn't have missed.
Well, that and the digital age. He's someone who will fully admit the digital is not his bag. He has a hard time.
Anything digital is not his bag. Digital wheels, digital
matches.
Digital matches.
He is someone that does not rely, but like when you get him live in person, the swagger, the energy, and get the crowd going, you know, that feeds him and gets him in. He can play his game better. That's why it worked against Myrtle. You know, the crowd like all upset, like that energy was so palpable. It's hard to do that when you're sitting at your screen in your living room. You got Snickers next to you. You got your girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's not the same feeling, and that doesn't work for Drew. It's not work for some people. Some people can do it. Drew has said he can do it. So that second match, I almost give it a mulligan in a way. I'd love to see a third match, maybe someone down the line if Drew wants to commit to studying and everything else.
The only pure match that they've had was and even that's not even a pure match because it's the family versus who's the boss match. Maybe a lot of people might not know this. They literally had taped like most of the two tournaments like that day. So that was like Ben's like fourth match or something like that, or fifth match that day on back pain medication with his back killing him. So like he just kind of ran out of gas like in that match. And that's when he's on the run to the singles title when he wins the singles tournament.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Will McLean coming in hot. We all know this is the true number one. Well, we know it's number one in your heart. All right, we know it is.
Number one in my heart. I'm not gonna lie.
Will McLean was there with us. Will McLean is also in the video. He's standing directly behind me, also screaming at Ben Bateman and screaming at Thad and Christian Harloff and everybody else involved. There's a great photo of Thad when Ben Bateman spins the second spinner's choice, and he literally just kind of like has his head in his hands, like, "Oh shit! Like this is not good."
Not good at all. Oh well, what are you gonna do? But it is definitely my favorite one. So, but that's it. You know, like that's what it is. So now, what could be number one if we don't have that as number one for us?
Well, I'm sure like all the Schmoedown fans will know what number one is. Here we go.
Oh no! It's a Lord of the Rings entrance for the Crusher.
Where does one find a road like that?
There it is.
That is, she's got her own.
It is Rachel Crusher.
The Crusher Cushing
versus Mike the Killer Kalinowski.
That's right. It is number one. No arguments. I don't care what anybody else thinks. This is the greatest rivalry in the Schmoedown. It's across multiple divisions. It's you know, it's been for titles. You know, they cut their teeth together. They, you know, every match is a good match.
Not only is it a good match, it's a respectful match between these two. You know, they love each other. They're such great friends. They love competing with each other, but you know they're going to put on a hell match. That one letter. Oh,
yeah, right? Like one letter.
Erase that match.
I mean, JTE's had like 14 letters wrong in one word and gotten it right before. So how is he going to lose a match on one letter?
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I mean, like, I almost wish that it kept going a little bit further. It seems like Rachel ended up retiring Shire was retiring and everything else, I feel like they could have had a few more matches together and really made it even greater than it is. But even without that, some of the greatest matches of all. Every time they faced each other, it was legitimately a match of the year type contender. And the respect level entirely sells it for me every single time.
Yeah, 100%. Like, people can argue, oh, it's not a rivalry because they like each other or whatever. That doesn't mean that it's not a rivalry. Like, they were playing each other in great matches all the time. Like, yeah, I mean, just great moments, live events. The one thing we didn't get, which I wish we would have gotten, was Shire Wolves versus Corruption. Like, that would have been a great match.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Odd Couple ruined that for us. So,
fucking Odd Couple.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great thing! But I am glad that you all stuck through with this with us, and even though we did lose it a couple times to streaming violations, but we made it through all the way to number one.
Yeah, thanks for sticking with us, everybody. We're going to be feuding apparently with YouTube from now on, and
That's right. We're gonna do it that way. But either way.
Oh wait, Corruption versus Shire Wolves did happen. You're right. Holy shit, they won the titles to retire the Shire Wolves.
Oh yeah,
what am I thinking?
Wow,
Guys, I got a lot in my mind right now tonight. All right, my mind was blown earlier tonight. If you're not a $10 patron to the Movie Trivia Schmoedown, you need to become one immediately. I'm dealing with that, and then also these YouTube issues. My mind's a little out of it. But yes, Dean Morgan, you are 100% correct.
The funny thing is, I always kind of forget that anyway, because I just remember all I remember is Shire Wolves retiring. That's what I remember. I don't remember them. I always forget. Like, oh, that's it goes against Corruption. That's right. But either way, that was a great match too. But oh god, I love that. I love those teams together. I love those two together, and I hope we get to see more. So, but what I'd love to see you guys do after the show is over here, hit that thumbs up and like, and throw more in the comments about who you think maybe we left out.
Yeah. Which one did we leave out that you feel deserves to be in the list?
Or give us your own top 11 list or whatever. We'll take a look. R&B versus Navarro. Hey,
I think that feud's still going on in R&B's head, at least. I think he's still yelling for Navarro somewhere in the
somewhere on the internet. But yeah. Anyway, great show. We had a great show tonight, Billy. I love that. Thanks for coming up with this great topic. You got a couple more coming up. Do you want to?
Yeah. So we're doing. I think we're going to go with what. Well, next I think we have IG matches, so we're going to do the 11 greatest IG matches in Schmoedown history, kind of in honor of Mara Kanopik return to the ring, and then that's in 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks after that is going to be shocking moments, but some of these might change.
It's also we can change on Audible. Although, Kaiser, we said this earlier. You might have missed it earlier. We didn't do managers on this thing. We might actually have a manager top 11 manager feuds or something to that effect. So maybe that would be number one for that, because I do love a good Gucci versus Kaiser battle.
Yeah, it's and in fact, like the fact that you kind of took that feud to another level in a lot of ways.
Turn it up to 11.
You did turn it up to 11, 100%. But yeah, thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. Danny Ramirez, thank you for hanging out with us in the background, helping us switch some stuff around, doing great things. Kaiser, shout out to you. Shout out to everybody in our Patreon. You can join patreon.com/call-to-action. You can also find us on Twitter at Call to Action. Paul, where can the people find you? Yeah, top 11 copyright strikes.
You can find me at Paul_Denuzio on Twitter. Oh, wait. Before I say anything more, we got a super chat from Mr. John Kaiser. Send these boys some money. They're running out of macaroni and cheese. You're right. I'm down to my last cup of the instant mac and cheese. I don't have real mac and cheese.
I mean, Paul and I are always at some level of running out of macaroni and cheese. Like, even when we refill the macaroni and cheese, we're still like immediately starting to run out of it again. So
you're right. So thank you so much, Kaiser, for the donation. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
At Paul_Denuzio on Twitter. You can find me every other week on Chilled Action, my favorite co-host, Danny Joy, and my other favorite co-host now, this guy over here, Billy Belford, joining Chilled Action. We're going back to a trio. He was only here for the good ones, so I guess that means every chill is going to be a good one from now on.
Hey, that's something. We're raising the stakes. All right, 2021.
We're gonna announce that one soon. We got another one. I don't want to make the announcement yet. We got to cross some I's, dot some T's, all that stuff, or backward, whatever. You know what I mean.
Yeah, that's
fine. Also, if I'm in Action Industries every day, every weekend day, and we're doing WandaVision review on Fridays. We'll do that, and of course PLD projects, which I have in the Scoundrels of the Force on every Sunday morning. And you can find Danny. There you go, at Danny E. Joy. Danny E. Joy. Sorry.
DANIEE. Joy. All right, you can find me at Mr. Billy Belford on Twitter. You can find me every other Monday here on Turn It Up to 11. You can also find me, as Paul said, at Chill to Action. You can also find me on Saturdays for Call Live. This coming Saturday, I'm going to be joined by my amazing co-host, the wonderful, the beautiful, the gorgeous Danny Joy, as we are joined by one David Campbell, the Scottish Inquisition, returning to Call Live. We're super excited for him. The dulcet tones of that beautiful, beautiful Scottish accent from Mr. David Campbell.
Nice.
But super excited for that, guys.
So as always, guys, you know what? We salute you. Take care, guys.